Guys, I have like the completely different glasses that I typically have, but like, who cares, right? The information is the information. Okay, so one of the things that I hear all the time from parents is I'm really overwhelmed, obviously, and I don't know how to keep up with tech, keeping up with the new apps, new social media, new gaming. There's always something that's new. Even right now, there's like new AI where it's like relationship AI chat bots where kids are downloading apps and it's a new technology, or kids changing videos or pictures with AI to make it seem like something's happening that's actually not happening. And there's so much that's going on, and it's always going to change. There's always going to be a new app that kids are obsessed with, a new game that kids are obsessed with. And I don't want you to feel like you have to know every single thing about the new tech that's coming out to protect your kids online, because to be honest, it is endless. Now, is it helpful to know that, okay, AI is becoming a big thing? Here's how AI can impact your children? Absolutely. But for that type of information, there are sources that you can follow that will automatically give you that. So what I love outside of like my own page, I have my TikTok page. I'm mostly on Instagram and YouTube, but sometimes I delve into like a little bit of TikTok. I rather consume TikTok than make content. But even though making content on TikTok's really nice, I should probably do that more often. Anyways, that's a side thing. This is a side conversation. Essentially is I make content online to make sure that you are able to protect your kids online, whether or not you are tech savvy or not, whether or not you have the ability to keep up with whatever is new in the tech world. There are accounts like Common Sense Media. Now, Common Sense Media, I recommend if you want to stay up to date with what's happening in the online world, I suggest that you sign up for their email newsletter. So I would Google Common Sense Media newsletter or email newsletter. I'm pretty sure that will give you the website. I can try right now to see if it will give you the website. I mean, whatever. Maybe I should. But Google that, and they have an amazing email newsletter. Let me see. Common Sense Media email newsletter. Okay, so if you type that in, exactly. Type that in immediately. One of the things they said was, if you're worried about AI or worried about screen time or whatever, they will give you tips. So they have one where it's weekly. You get entertainment recommendations, like appropriate recommendations for your kids, whether it's gaming apps that are good for your kids, meaning as in it's safer than another one that they may want to be on, whether it is lessons or advice if you're a teacher or educator to keep the children in your classroom safe, or if you're an advocate and like me, and I don't like thinking that I'm an advocate. I don't call myself an advocate, but technically under this check box, there is an advocate box, and that would be something that I would check to make sure that the digital world is safer for kids, right? And so those are examples of newsletters or resources that you can subscribe to, and you can get weekly, bi-weekly, once a month, once every 3 months. You can get an email that helps you stay up to date with what's happening in the online world. There are a lot of different companies that do this. Now, there's not like a plethora of them, but there's like a couple, like let's say 5, 6, maybe 10 companies that have some really great information that keep you up to date, and I love using them. For me, because I'm in this industry, I have Google Alerts, I have Feedly, I have many different ways in order for me to get the information that I want to get. But never feel like you have to be on top of everything and you have to know what is the new thing at all times, because that will stress you out. And you're already stressed out, you're already worried, you're already overwhelmed, you already have anxiety, you already have insomnia. It's not necessary for you to add something that is not going to directly impact your child's safety. Now, I'm not saying that if you do it, it's not going to impact your child's safety, but if you're trying to do that and it's stressing you out, or you feel like you have to do it and you're feeling like all of this guilt and shame because you're not doing it, then that feeling is impacting you being able to protect your kids online. If you have a system or whatever it is, and you're able to keep up with it, and it helps you stay in the loop and stay one step ahead of your kids, and it's really helpful for you, and it's not stressful, but it's like, okay, I feel like a sense of ownership, a sense of control, a sense of like, I got this. If that is the reaction that you have when it comes to keeping up with technology, the new apps, the new games, and new social media, then go on ahead and absolutely do that. Because in that case, it will help you protect your child online better. But for most people that I know, most of the parents that I work with, it is a detriment, and it feels like you're falling behind quickly, very, very fast, and the world is moving at a pace exponentially beyond what you're capable of being able to sit every single day and read read, I don't know, articles and blogs and videos and like it's too much, okay? So don't feel like you have to do that. Number two is you don't have to know more than your kids. So not only do you not need to know more, like in terms of everything that's happening, all cutting edge things in technology and gaming and social media and all the different ways that predators reach out to kids. The second thing is you don't need to know more than your kids. You don't. Like they most likely, and this probably goes into point number one, they most likely, if they're like super into this, I mean, not all kids are like this, but they most likely are more in tune with what's going on than you are, because simply for the fact that them and all of their friends are doing that. Not them and all of their friends are influenced by whatever they see on TikTok or Snapchat. All of us are. We're all influenced by TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. Like this is not like, oh, this is a teen thing, this is a kid thing, but they're more in tune with it because they are the ones that are using it and they're driving that change. And so instead of you feeling like you have to know more than your child to protect your child online, just know what your child knows. And the best way to know what your child knows is to give them a space where they feel safe enough, non-judgmental, open space where they can speak to you about whatever they're seeing, and then you'll be in the know. Will there be like little tiny things that they may hide from you? Maybe, possibly. But so long as you're able to maintain that space where it's like non-judgmental, it's open, they can talk to you, you are going to be ahead of the curve. You're going to be way ahead of the curve in ways that you may not even know at this particular moment, because you're able to have that space with your child where they feel like, oh, I can talk to my parent, my caretaker about anything, and they're not going to judge me. They're not going to think that I'm weird. I mean, you may think that they're weird. You might think that something's really weird. You may be really confused. You may be like, what's going on? I don't understand this. And that's totally fine. That's a moment of like, oh, curiosity. It's a moment of, tell me more. I don't get this. What's this? What does this have to connect with this? I just saw a news story about that. What is your thoughts on that? Have you been seeing that? And just making it super normal for them to talk to you, to the point where they can tell you things that they've seen, things that they've done, things that their friends are doing, and not to like snitch on them or tell anybody's names, just to be like, yeah, so at school, like I saw so-and-so did that and blah, blah, blah. And this is how I felt about it because I thought that was weird. Or you're bringing up conversations that help you stay in the loop without actually ever having to really be ahead of every single thing that's going on. That also helps your relationship with your kid. It's like once you do this, you're actually hitting many different avenues of protecting your kids online. Not only do you know what's going on in your child's life, number one, are you in the position to know when red flags pop up? So let's just say that they're on a website that may not be great for them, and so you have a conversation with them about what's going on. Not what's going on, but like, how do you feel about that website? What do you do on it? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? Is there something that I'm misunderstanding about it? Is there something that's super fun about it? What are ways that you stay safe on the site? Is there something like there's just an open conversation, especially when it comes to teens, so over 13 years old, between like 13 and obviously 17. I mean, we can go up to 18, but like whatever. We'll keep it under the 18 range, right? With your teens, being that experienced friend, being that mentor, being that guide, and being in there with them helps them fail safely inside of your house, right? You don't want them to feel like they have to keep everything secret, because anytime they tell you something, you freak out. Anytime you tell them something, they feel like, oh, well, I can't talk to my mom about this. That is something, and it can happen every now and then, but you don't want it to be a point where it's the foundation of their feeling with you. That if I tell my parent or my caretaker about this particular thing, they're gonna freak out, and therefore I cannot tell them. And when they have that mindset, you're not gonna be able to stay on top of what is happening. So when I say don't stay on top of what's happening or don't know more about tech, I'm saying that you do not have to stress yourself out and overwhelm yourself out to know every single thing. This is why people like me and people like Common Sense Media, Common Sense Media is not a person, it's an organization, it's a nonprofit organization, but that is why they exist, because our entire point is to lift the unnecessary stress off of you and give you the tools, the timely tools, simple, actionable tools to help you protect your kids online without you having to feel like that you have to do all the research. Now, are there times that you're going to have to do your own research randomly? Absolutely. Let's just say that you have just come from a conversation with your kids and they're telling you about this new thing. So it's this new AI dating chat app. and you're like, what is the name of the app? And let's just say it's called like teen dating AI, teen AI dating. Let's just say, and this, I'm just making up this, maybe there's an app that's called that, but I'm making up the name. But there are apps like this, right? And you're confused about that. And so you go to Google and you type it in and you learn more about the app, or you go to the App Store, the Google Play Store, and you type it in and you learn more about it. Or you go to my Facebook group, Child Online Safety Movement, or if you're inside of my Protect Kids Online membership, you go to our Facebook group and you're like, hey, my kid really wants this game. My kid really wants this new social media app. My kid really wants this new dating AI app. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. That is your version of a research, because your child is telling you they want it. By the way, anytime they talk to you about anything, that's a win. Anytime they feel comfortable enough to tell you something, that's like a win. Even though it may not feel like a win in that particular moment, it actually is a win. That's an opening. It's what they call, I think it's like John Gottman said this. He does like relationships, and he was the one that he could predict with, I think, 80-90% accuracy. I think it was something crazy, like 90% accuracy on whether or not a relationship, we're talking about romantic relationships, will work. And one of the things that he said is that if one partner had a bid for connection, a bid for love, meaning they're asking for love, they're asking for connection in whatever way, like, oh, look at that bird, or oh, let me tell you about my day at work today. If the other partner did not accept that bid for love, so when the one partner said, look at the bird, and they're like, ugh, I'm not looking at the bird, I have better things to do. Or the other partner says, I want to tell you about my work day, and they're like, I cannot have this conversation right now, you're pissing me off, I don't want to talk about your work, give me a second. He was predicting that those relationships are the ones that are going to fail. It's very similar with your kids. Their bid for love and connection is telling you what's going on, is telling you some of their feelings, is telling you the new event in Fortnite. And you're like, there are events in Fortnite? And they're like, yeah, there's an event in Fortnite. Or they're telling you about this new skin or champion or character in a game. They're really excited about it, or they really want Robux, or they're really trying to tell you this new thing that happened in Roblox, or they're super excited for Mr. Beast's new video. Whatever it is, that is their bid for connection. And so if they tell you anything, they divulge anything, or they're just casually talking to you, that is a bid for love and connection. And to be honest, I would call that, in this circumstance, based off of what we're talking about, that is a bid for safety. That is just a bid for safety. For them to tell you something that's going on in their school, what's going on with their friends, that is a bid for safety. And those moments are crucial for protecting your kids online. They're way more crucial than, honestly, in the general foundational level, than any type of parental control that you enable without doing this. Obviously, parental controls are important. We don't have, they're obviously important, but if you're not coupling that with those bid for safeties, like accepting their bid for safety, accepting their bid for connection, their want to talk to you about something, then that makes the parental control app not actually as beneficial as it could be, right? Because your child, if they feel no connection and they feel no safe space to open up that is non-judgmental, they're going to go and start circumventing your parental controls. They're going to go around it. They're going to figure out how to turn it off. They're going to figure out how to do things so that you don't notice it. And on the parental control app, it looks like everything is peachy. Everything's great. They're not doing anything, but you don't know that they have a completely different system going on, or they have a completely different way to make sure that they are going online undetected. And one of the worst things that can happen is that your child is doing things behind your back and being super, super sneaky because they cannot trust you. That does not mean that you're a bad parent. It does not mean that you should feel shame or guilt. It just means that you're like, okay, well, and you're obviously going to have feelings about it. You're obviously going to feel all above and below and between and back and forth and whatever. I'm not saying that those are not valid. I'm saying that you don't need to stay in that place. The best next step is, okay, how do we fix this? After you breathe, after you cry, okay, after you talk to your trusted friend about it, how do you come back from it and go, okay, what do I do right now? Because everyone goes through it. This is not like, only the bad parents go through, only the parents have been neglecting their kids. No, everybody goes through it. It doesn't matter. Everybody goes through it. It doesn't even matter how good or great your kid is, so to speak. There's no such thing as great or good kids, but whatever. But no matter how great your child is, they're still going to have moments where they feel like, I don't know if I could trust my parents. And it's not like, oh, my parent did something that I feel is breaking my trust and oh my God, my life is over, but more that like I'm unsure about how my parents would react in the situation. And the last time I told them something about some random person at school or my friend, they had a crazy reaction and they had a crazy reaction to my friend. So if I tell them that I'm doing something, then they're going to even have a worse reaction. That is when I say they don't feel that there is a space for them to be open and safe. That's all. This isn't like going to the extreme. It's just they feel like they have to hide things because they don't want you to take away their devices. They don't want you to yell. They don't want you to scream. They don't want you to say, this is why I don't let you have, no, 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 no. Insert the thing. So that is how you stay on top of technology. If you want to stay on top of technology, you have that space with your kid where they feel comfortable to talk to you about anything and everything. And then the second portion is that you don't worry about knowing everything and you just follow the people that have the information, like Common Sense Media. I really like them. I wouldn't follow them on social media because they don't really have a lot of social media, but I would follow them on their email newsletter. It's perfection. It's great. It's a lot. I love it. Their website, perfection, love. And then if you want more internet safety tips and you want to stay on the know with what's going on, then join my Facebook group, Child Safety, wow. I don't know how to do English. Child Online Safety Movement. That's what it is. Child Online Safety Movement. And then I am Cyber Frida on all of the platforms, Instagram, YouTube. I have a bunch of videos over here. And that is a way that you can stay connected to technology and protect your kids online. You don't have to feel like you need to know more than your kids. You need to be tech savvy. You need to understand every single thing that's going on the internet. You absolutely do not. Do not stress yourself out with that at all whatsoever. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I'm Cyber Farida. I have a background in cybersecurity and threat intelligence, and I've been gaming online since I was 13 years old. I am an award-winning Forbes 30 Under 30 internet safety expert, and my main mission is to help you protect your kids online while building a strong parent-child bond, because the foundation of protecting your kids online means that your child has a safe, non-judgmental, open space where they feel comfortable to talk to you about anything and everything without fear of being punished or being judged. And that is it. Have an amazing day, and until next time.